Well, this is the directed graph that I created. Seems pretty much like a big mess, well, especially down here, because I just kind of winged it. This is the blueprint for what's up there. Down here's the group A9, A8. There's 80 nodes. And it alternates between what's on and off, but it doesn't connect to everything. Well, it did at one point, but I disconnected these. These double nodes go to groups, to these groups, like this, B9, where B9 goes to this double lantern, which means it goes to a group, a node that has 4 variables, or for 4 out arcs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is in the order in which it hits. Well, not specifically, which I'll get to that in a minute. And it's this node, well, it's this node right here by itself that has a potential for infinite growth because it feeds into itself, and its only output is to 4. But then these two nodes also, wait, these two nodes right here would also feed into it as well. And this was a clock to kind of see it go in slow motion, which was like every minute. And then there's this. This is group A1, A4, feeds into group B7, B2, which loops into itself, and it hits all these spots, especially that wasn't getting hit earlier by those technically. All the nodes that are getting hit right now are just nodes that are divisible. When you divide by 2, you get to an odd number. When you get an even number, divide by 2, and it comes out odd. Disconnect that and let it settle. And there's this one over here too, which is A5 that feeds into B3, which feeds into A5. So that's 5 groups I pointed out. One of them feeds into themselves directly. 2 of them feed into each other. And the 2 that feed into each other have potential for infinite growth as well. And to show what's happening in the directed graph up here, this is group B1, B4. The odd, the even. If I attach that there, you can see the group, the nodes are being hit in order 1, 3, 5, 7. Let that run through, reset it. And then on this side, when this node is hit, it does the group in a backwards order. First it hits 1, then 7, 5, 3. And then if we hit both nodes at the exact same time, we get this, where it seems like that pair just wants to stay off. Okay, they're both set. Now, even though this one hits them in order, that doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what's going on, because I haven't put in the logic for it to tell the difference between certain numbers. This is just a general approach. It can't differentiate between the number 637 or 1835. That's where it would come to human logic to figure that part out. But these nodes down here will not have this attachment. These are for even numbers when divisible by 2 equals an odd number, or an odd number that you multiply by 3 and plus 1 equals an even number that is divisible by 2 and leads to an odd number. Down here are the nodes where a number can be divisible by 4. An even number can be divisible by 4 and will lead to either 2 odd numbers or 2 even numbers, depending on where it hits. And as you see, all the lights are off for the nodes. I'm pretty sure I reset it correctly, so we'll find out in a minute. All these lamps are off. And this is just to kind of catch the descent or ascension in a flash. I know did that backwards. I didn't reset it properly. But nonetheless, it's still a path that can happen. So when 4 was triggered, 2 was triggered, then 7, and then down here, 3B9 was triggered, which triggers 5, A7, A2, and then this isn't connected to any other node, but four was triggered again, and then it triggers this. Which in turn triggers 1A9. It triggered 6A9, which in turn triggers 1A9. Which in turn triggers 6B9. Which triggered 2B7. And if I were to fully connect B7, it would connect to A1, B1, and then A1 would connect to B7, A7, and then 1B1 will connect to, I forget where it connects to. I know well, essentially just connecting that up to those two and that one to these two would pretty much have all these nodes covered except for no, there'd still be some stuff to reconnect because this connects to the A7 would connect there, and then I think it's B5 that would also connect to B9, A7 and B5 connect to B9, and B9 connects to both of these. And that's essentially how the directed graph is working. I haven't fully connected it, but since we've tested numbers up to 2 to the 58th power, we all know that numbers up to there go to group 1, B1, B4, since that's 0, 1, 0, 4, the 4, 2, 1 loop. And if I'm not mistaken, this, once it's complete, it's essentially a fast 4-year transform. And I hope this makes sense to some people, like on how the directed graph is working. This would need a lot more minor tweaks to make it work perfectly correct. Even if I connect everything, it'd just be connected in a general format. And that's what I'm trying to do, is generalize the problem to hopefully sift through the data faster. Because with the A1, B1, we know any number that's A with the ending, any number that's A is an odd number corresponding with the ending number makes its placement in the collatz conjecture, and pairing it up beginning value and its ending value of an odd number, like 19. This one, technically 1 would be 19 times 3 plus 1, which would be 58, and then divide that by 2. Which would go to 29, and that's B9. That'd be 2B9. Since 1B9 would be 0,9. And I don't try to make these videos really long or complicated, because if this is something trivial, I don't want to waste people's time on it completely or anything. Even though I've been working on this for a couple weeks on and off, a lot of it was just trial and error to make sure stuff went off like it's supposed to. Like, this is what I started off with before. And there's no labels on here, but I started off with the group 1B4, and the 4 that it hits are itself 1, 5, 3, 7. And this isn't tuned correctly right this second either. It's been a while since I was messing with it. I had to figure this out before I could even work any of this out. But thank you for listening, and I know this isn't the most compact redstone, but hopefully I'm not mistaken about this being a fast Fourier transform. And you guys have a good day.